Welcome. I'm out and about. We're at the second annual Abilities Expo here in Toronto. I'm sitting with the gentleman, Karl Ludwig. Thank you so much for your time there, Karl.
Thank you very much for having me.
2013, you were at the World Championship. 2014, you're over at the Paralympics, representing Canada, national team Sledge Hockey. What I'd like you to begin with, I know that you're born with spina bifida. You share a little bit about, what was it like growing up, some of the stuff that you went through, and what eventually got you into hockey?
Right. So when I was a young kid, growing up with spina bifida, I loved the game of hockey, but realized quite quickly that skating really wasn't going to work. I mean, I could kind of skate while holding onto the boards, but that's not how you make the NHL. And I had dreams of making the NHL, making it big in hockey. It wasn't till, I was a little bit younger when my mom first introduced me to sledge hockey. I was like 2 or 3. But at that point, I still wanted to make the NHL. When I was 7 years old, she put me in a sledge again. From that point on, loved the game of sledge hockey, fell in love with it, and pursued my dreams of taking it as far as I could possibly go.
You're over at the World Championship. Can you share a little bit about, from the standpoint, all the crowds that are watching you? What did it feel like?
Well, first and foremost, the amount of work and effort that it took for me to get to that point, because that was my first year on the national team, and I wasn't sure if they were going to keep me until Worlds. It was a lot of fingers crossed and everything right up till the last moment. But I worked really, really hard and put a lot of work ethic into making it. And just to be there, to be on the ice. I was on the ice for the game-winning goal against the Americans to give us the gold medal at that tournament. And it was an incredible memory, incredible experience, and I'll always have that forever.
Now we're in focus now on the Olympics, 2014. You're going through the stadium in Sochi. What was going through your mind? And there's probably thousands of people in the stands watching you. You're going into the stadium, the flag's fluttering in the wind in front of you, and there's all these other Canadians all around you.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible being in Sochi. Again, I never was a top player on that team. I was always one of the bubble players, so I really had to work really, really hard to stay on that team each year that I was on it, and to be a part of that team in Sochi was absolutely incredible. I had friends and family cheering me on at home, and I had family that were there. My grandparents came, my parents came, so to have them up in the stands along with a bunch of my teammates, friends and family as well, it's surreal. It's incredible.
You won a bronze medal over in the Paralympics in 2014. Share a little bit about that.
Winning the bronze medal was just, it was incredible. It's obviously not what we sought out to achieve. It's not what we achieved at the World Championships the year before. But it was a really hard-fought Paralympics. Teams really, really wanted it. The way things happened were we were in a pool that wasn't with the Americans or with Russia, but they were in a pool to duke it out. So the Americans actually lost to the Russians in the preliminary round, so that kind of changed the order of things. So we had to play the Americans in the semifinal, and that wasn't what we expected, wasn't what we thought had drawn up. So made things a whole lot more challenging. And sure enough, that day they got the better end of us, and it was tough. It was tough to lose, but for me personally, each player kind of took the experience differently. For me, it was absolutely incredible. It's the only Paralympics I've ever been to, and to be a part of it and to have something to show for it, to have a bronze medal, it's just words can't describe. It's amazing.
I know that you've retired now from the national team, and you've gone to work for Nike. What are some of the struggles that you go through on a daily basis? There's people out there right now, and I want them to know that they're not alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, there's a struggle with the transition from being an athlete for a lot of my life to suddenly now got to focus on real life and doing, normal 9-to-5 type things. That can be a tough transition for people, but there comes a time when you got to start thinking about that, and I kind of started thinking about that towards the end of my sledge hockey national team career. So that kind of eased the process. Yeah.
What about on a daily basis? What is your schedule like on a daily basis?
Nowadays, my schedule could be all over the place, but it's a full-time job that I work, so I might work weekends, might work weekdays. It's kind of all over the place. Sometimes it's a morning shift, sometimes it's a nighttime shift, so it's really all over the place, but I still try to get in the workouts because old habits die hard, and I still love the game of sledge hockey, still play it on a competitive team.
You're an individual that is obviously as you're sharing, the competitor still exists within you. You don't let any obstacles stop you. Is there anything you wish to share in regards to, that there might be someone else there listening, you want to inspire them to follow their own dreams and never give up?
Yeah, I do a lot of motivational speaking. That's actually something I really love doing. And my message is clear and simple. Like, no matter who you are, no matter what your abilities, disabilities, whatever you want to call it, you're capable of achieving dreams as long as you put in the effort. And I really, really believe that, and that is my message to everybody. It doesn't matter if you want to become an athlete, want to become a doctor, firefighter, whatever it is you want to become, if you put in that work, you can achieve it.
Thank you so much, Sir Karl. You're amazing.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.